The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was silent. 700 alien species sat in their floating chairs, watching the human ambassador stand alone in the center of the chamber. Ambassador Sarah kept her back straight and her face calm, even though her heart was breaking inside her chest. "The vote is final," announced High Arbiter, his purple skin glowing with authority. "Humanity is hereby banned from the Galactic Union. You will leave all Union territories within 30 standard days. Your ships will be confiscated. Your colonies will be given to other species. This decision cannot be changed." Sarah looked around the massive room. She saw the delegates laughing quietly. She saw the representatives nodding with satisfaction. She saw 1,000 eyes filled with hatred, fear, and something else that hurt more than anything. She saw contempt. "May I ask why?" Sarah's voice did not shake. "We have followed every law. We have paid every tax. We have fought in your wars and died for your causes. What crime have we committed?" Leaned forward in his chair. "Your crime is existing, human. Your species grows too fast. You adapt too quickly. You learn too much. In 300 years, you have gone from primitive creatures to a spacefaring civilization. The other species took thousands of years to achieve what you did in centuries. You are dangerous." "We are dangerous because we grow?" Sarah asked. "You are dangerous because you do not know your place," said Ambassador of the Empire. His snake-like body coiled around his seat. "Every other young species accepts guidance from the elder races. They follow our rules. They stay quiet and small. But humans, you ask questions. You challenge traditions. You refuse to bow." Sarah smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "So we are being punished for being ambitious." "You are being removed for being a threat," corrected. "The Galactic Union has existed for 50,000 years. We will not let one aggressive species destroy our peace. Take your people and leave. Find some dark corner of the galaxy and stay there. Perhaps in 1,000,000 years, when you have learned humility, we will reconsider." Sarah looked at the floor for a long moment. When she raised her head, her eyes were dry and clear. "We will leave," she said. "But I want you to remember this day. Remember the moment you chose to make an enemy instead of a friend. Remember what you threw away." She turned and walked out of the chamber. Behind her, the aliens laughed. Some threw insults. Others celebrated their victory over the young and foolish humans. None of them understood what they had just done. The evacuation was brutal. 12 billion humans lived across Union space, on planets they had built with their own hands. Families who had lived somewhere for 5 generations were forced onto overcrowded ships. Businesses worth trillions of credits were abandoned. Schools, hospitals, and farms were left behind for other species to claim. General stood on the bridge of the evacuation ship Hope's Light and watched his people suffer. He saw children crying for homes they would never see again. He saw old people dying in cramped corridors because there were not enough medical supplies. He saw the proud human spirit being crushed under the weight of injustice. "Where do we go?" asked Captain, his second in command. Pointed at the star map. Beyond the borders of the Galactic Union lay the outer darkness, a vast region of space that no species had ever explored. It was filled with dangerous nebulas, unstable stars, and worlds that the Union considered worthless. "There," said, "they want us gone. Fine. We will go somewhere they cannot reach us, and we will build something that will make them regret every single vote they cast against us." The journey took 5 years. Thousands of ships carried the entire human population into the unknown. They lost ships to accidents and storms. They lost people to disease and despair. But they kept moving forward because they had no other choice. They found their new home in a star system with 7 planets. The main world was harsh and cold, with thin air and rocky soil. The Union would have considered it garbage, but humans saw something else. They saw potential. They named the planet New Terra, and they began to build. The first 10 years were the hardest. People lived in underground bunkers while they worked to make the surface livable. Engineers worked 20-hour days to build atmosphere processors. Scientists developed new crops that could grow in the poor soil. Miners dug deep into the planet to find the resources they needed. Ambassador Sarah became president, the leader of this new human civilization. She gave speeches that kept hope alive. She made hard decisions that saved lives. She reminded her people every day that their suffering had a purpose. "They called us dangerous," she told a crowd of workers on the 10th anniversary of their exile. "They said we grow too fast. They were right to be afraid, because we will grow faster than ever before. We will build something so magnificent that they will see its light from their palace windows, and they will know that they made a terrible mistake." The humans did something that no other species had ever done. They shared everything. Scientists gave their discoveries freely to anyone who could use them. Engineers taught their skills to whoever wanted to learn. Rich and poor worked side by side because they understood that they would survive together or die together. This changed everything. Within 50 years, New Terra was transformed. The rocky wasteland became a green paradise. Cities rose toward the sky, powered by energy sources that the Union had not discovered yet. Human technology advanced at a rate that would have seemed like magic to their ancestors. General, now old but still sharp, stood on a balcony overlooking the capital city of Nova Geneva. Behind him, President's grandson, David, looked at reports from their expanding territory. "We have colonized 47 planets now," David said. "Our population has grown to 30 billion. Our fleet has 3,000 warships, and each one is more powerful than anything the Union possesses." Nodded slowly. "We have done well, but we must be careful. The Union will notice us eventually." "Let them notice," David said. "We are not the same weak species they kicked out 60 years ago. We are something new." The Union did notice. Their scouts found human colonies that were supposed to be impossible. They saw ships that moved faster than anything they had built. They detected energy signatures that their scientists could not explain. High Arbiter was still alive, kept young by advanced medicine. When he saw the reports, his purple skin turned pale with fear. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "We sent them to die in the outer darkness. We took everything from them. How have they become so powerful?" Ambassador, the who had mocked humanity 60 years ago, studied the data with trembling hands. They did not just survive, they thrived. Their technology has advanced beyond ours. Their population has. Their territory now covers a region as large as the entire empire. "Then we must destroy them," said, "before they become too strong." The Galactic Union assembled the largest fleet in its history. 10,000 warships from 50 different species gathered at the border of human space. They expected an easy victory. After all, they had beaten humanity before, when the humans were part of the Union and dependent on alien technology. They did not expect what was waiting for them. Admiral James Santos commanded the human defense fleet. He was the great-grandson of a refugee who had died during the evacuation. His entire life had been shaped by stories of that injustice. "They think we are still the same people they threw away," James said to his officers. "Let us educate them." The battle lasted exactly 4 hours. Human weapons tore through alien shields like paper. Human ships moved so fast that the enemy could not track them. Human tactics were so advanced that the alien admirals could not understand what was happening. When it was over, the Union fleet was destroyed. Not defeated, destroyed. Out of 10,000 ships, only a few hundred escaped to tell the story of what had happened. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The species that had laughed at humanity now trembled in terror. The races that had voted to exile the humans now begged for mercy. The great galactic union, which had stood for 50,000 years, began to crack. One by one, species started leaving the Union. Some joined humanity, hopping to share in their success. Others simply fled to neutral territories, wanting no part of the coming conflict. Within a year, the Union had lost half of its members. High Arbiter received a communication request from New Terra. When he accepted, he saw President Sarah on the screen. She was old now, over 90 years of age, but her eyes were still sharp and strong. "Do you remember what I said to you 60 years ago?" Sarah asked. Could not speak. He simply stared at the human who had stood alone in his chamber and warned him of this moment. "I told you to remember the day you chose to make an enemy instead of a friend," Sarah continued. "I told you to remember what you threw away. Well, here I am. And I want you to know that we remember too. We remember every tear, every death, every insult, every laugh." "What do you want?" finally managed to ask. "I want you to understand something," Sarah said. "We could destroy you. We have the power to wipe your union from existence, but we will not do that, because we are not like you. We do not punish species for existing. We do not exile civilizations because we are afraid of them." She leaned closer to the screen. "We are going to build something better, a new union based on equality and cooperation. Every species will have a voice. Every race will have a chance to grow and learn and become something greater. We will not rule as tyrants. We will lead as teachers." "And what about us?" asked. "What about the species who wronged you?" Sarah smiled, and this time it was a genuine smile, filled with something that did not expect: forgiveness. "You can join us if you choose. We will not force you. We will not threaten you. We will simply offer you the chance that you never gave us. The choice is yours." The transmission ended. Sat alone in his chamber for a long time, thinking about what he had just heard. 60 years ago, he had condemned humanity because he feared their potential. Now he understood that he had been right to be afraid. But he had been wrong about why. Humans were not dangerous because they grew fast or adapted quickly. They were dangerous because they never gave up. They took every blow, every insult, every injustice, and they turned it into fuel for something greater. They did not seek revenge. They sought excellence. And they had achieved it. The Human Confederation became the center of a new galactic community. Species that had once mocked them now sent their children to human universities. Races that had once feared them now traded peacefully in human markets. The outer darkness, once considered worthless, became the most prosperous region in the known galaxy. Sarah lived long enough to see her dream become reality. On the day she died, at the age of 104, she looked out her window at the beautiful world her people had built from nothing. "They banned us," she whispered to her grandson, "so we built our own throne, and now the entire galaxy wants to sit beside us." She closed her eyes with a smile on her face. Humanity had been told that it did not belong among the stars. It had responded by proving that the stars themselves were not big enough for what humanity could become. And somewhere in the great hall of what was once the Galactic Council, the empty chair that had belonged to humanity was now the most honored seat in a new and better union. A reminder of what happens when you underestimate the species that refuses to stay down. The universe had learned its lesson. Humanity never forgets, and humanity never stops rising.